Yo, what's up? This is your boy Mark, aka Max Payne, with my twin sisters.
I'm Camille. No, boy, you know they ain't never seen you on this channel before.
My mom seen me, I think.
What's up, guys? It's Camilla and Camille, and today we have a special guest with us. This is Mark. And so basically this video is just going to be about us talking about life. It's a little chit chat session. We're kind of bored, you know, parents not home, right, whatnot. Three of us just decided to sit here and make a random video for you guys. So let's get into it. Okay.
So what's our topic?
Well, you had the first topic.
Oh, about life?
Right.
Okay.
So tell them what you want to talk about.
Damn.
You start. It's your boy Mark. I'm chilling with my twin sisters, but now
you have
cat
brain
got your
fart?
tongue.
Your brain fart, like you forgot what you were gonna say?
No, I don't know. I think so.
What's in
Take
your
another
cup,
sip.
Mark?
Take another sip.
Nah, you just I didn't know you was gonna make me.
All right, so you know what?
I didn't know she was gonna make you do it either.
It's
I was
okay.
just rolling along.
Yeah, like, I
You
didn't
know,
you
we
wanted
had
me
this
to-
whole idea going on, but I'll just bring up the first topic. Okay, so basically, we've been talking about life a lot together lately. And we're young, right? Early 20s. And you know when you're just thinking about like what the rest of your life is going to consist of, where you're headed, what you're doing. Because every day when you wake up, you have to think about what is it that you're going to do today that's going to better your future
Get
tomorrow.
this money.
Exactly.
That's right.
So we pretty much all work or have working experience or looking to start work or whatever it is. And sometimes we get stressed out about that. Right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's stressing y'all about work right now?
Trying to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
A good, decent paying job with great benefits.
Right.
A job that's actually going to give you full-time hours.
Right.
Right.
A job that's actually going to pay for the things that you need.
Right.
Because
And
you
not
have to be
just
able to
scraping
afford.
by.
Exactly. So basically, yeah, that's one of the things that stresses us out. Another thing that sometimes stresses us out as young people is relationships. Your guy, your girl, whatever it is, all the things that y'all argue about in your relationship. So one thing we were
I'm
talking
single,
about.
by the way.
Now you're gonna have a bunch of these little holes up in your.
Don't say that. Don't call them that.
No, I'm not saying that our subscribers are hoes or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, like,
Cut that out.
What?
Cut that part out.
okay, my bad, okay? You're gonna have a bunch of these little girls now all up on you because you didn't hear promoting that you sing.
I'm going for Mills and Cougars.
Oh my god.
Just to let y'all know.
Okay, so our first topic is going to be about being young and trying to find a job. Trying to find a good job where you're not just going to be paying for your transportation to go to work and transportation to come back. You want a good job that you can actually start saving up to get out of your parents' house. Right, because that's my only goal. See my t-shirt today, it's goals, is to buy a
Your
house.
titties is your goals?
No, come on. My shirt says goals.
I wasn't watching your titties. I don't know.
A lot of us young people, like growing up, transitioning from a teenager into adulthood, sometimes you don't have the proper guidance. Exactly. Maybe your family or your parents are not really paying attention to you, or maybe you just don't have enough friends or that one person in your life that can guide you and put you on the right path. Or you might not have anybody as, you know, to be a guide.
That's the thing with having experience. You can't have experience if nobody gives you a
nobody's gonna give
chance.
it.
Exactly. So that's one thing that a lot of people start to realize, like, okay, I've never worked before, and they're asking me what my experience is, and they're telling me that I have to have some kind of experience, and I've never had any work experience. Not only that, but the job that I need like, they're not giving me the experience. So if you gave me a chance, then that would be one thing that I could use as an experience. You guys can use volunteer work. You guys can simply use, if you've ever babysat for anybody, you could put that down on you know, your little first resume ever.
I've been to see my grandmother. Can I put that?
Yes, you can.
You honestly can.
You actually can. You can basically just put on your resume that
Because you know what,
attended
that
to
could-
the elderly in her home.
Exactly.
And I babysit my
You
dog.
could get like a home
Yeah, I
health
had
aid
a
job
dog.
Exactly.
off of saying that you watched
You
your
can-
grandmother.
Exactly. You don't have to put that it was your grandmother.
Can I file taxes on her?
I don't know about that.
Oh, I was just asking. I was giving that.
But yeah, perfect example. So Mark said that, you know, babysitting your grandmother or watching your grandmother. You could simply write down that you attended to the elderly in their home. You could put that you give them their medication, that you make sure that they're eating, that you make sure that they're sleeping and that they're taking their medication on time, things like that. And you can easily, it would take some time, but it's one quality that could get you a job in a nursing home or even in a hospital. You could start off with volunteer work and say that you want to volunteer in the geriatric unit, that's the elderly patients unit, and things like that. As well as you could even get a job or volunteer work in a child care center and a daycare simply by saying that you babysit your nieces or your nephews and stuff.
If you're in high school, you're a teenager in high school, and you do certain volunteer work for your teachers or in the guidance office, that shows that you do like general office work. These are all ideas that you can put on a resume.
That's how I got my
your first job.
Yep.
You got to draw up a resume, and if you haven't worked before, just put all these experiences on your resume. Just make sure that you're not putting too much and it's still 1 page long.
Right.
And then just go out there and start job hunting, and you're bound to find something. Right.
That's how I got my first job. The only thing that I had on my resume was that I babysat my 2 nieces, which is our older sister's daughter.
I put that too. I remember
and I also put that I helped my music teacher in the office. Now, mind you, all she asked me to do was just put people's tests and stuff in alphabetical order, and file them away in drawers, and if the phone rang, just answer it and let them know where she is. And that's all I did for like the entire 2 semesters of my last year of high school. I put it down that I was an office assistant.
That can help you to get a customer service job.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yep. All those things.
So those are things that you can do to put on your resume if you've never had a resume before that you trying to get a job experience. You can put down your volunteer work. These are all experiences. They're not paid experiences, but they still count as experiences.
So that's the first step, drawing up a resume in order to land your first job. Second, when you do land your first job, if you like it there, try to stay there for at least up to a year.
Exactly.
So that you have proof that you have
enough working experience. Right. Like the amount of working experience that you have. Because now they're going to want to see, well, have you only been there for 1 month? Then what experience is that? What have you learned if you've only stayed there for a month or for 3? But if you stay there for more than 6 months up to a year, then they say, okay, so you've accumulated a certain amount of experience. There's a lot that somebody can learn in a year. And longevity is everything. Exactly. So the longer that they see that you've held a position, they're going to feel like you're going to stay there. You don't want a job to feel like you're applying with us to soon leave us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they see that you
start off with seasonal jobs too.
Right, exactly. If it's seasonal, then they actually are the ones putting the time limit on your job, because they're telling you how long it's going to last. Or if it's a temp position, if it's temporary, that's another thing too that you guys could look into for work experience are temp positions. Sometimes somebody's on maternity leave or somebody's on like bereavement leave. They left their job because of certain situations where they need somebody to temporarily fill in that person's position until they come back. So even though the job, you already know the termination date since like by the time you start, you already know when you're going to end, at least you could take that as an experience and put it on your resume that you were there and that you learned something and that you have something to put on your
even when you
resume.
get the temp jobs, you could try your best to make sure you're always on time and you do good work, because your temp could end up being permanent.
Exactly.
So
soon as that person comes back, somebody might be quitting and they go, hey, we have a position opened up. Do you want to stay? So that's another thing too.
And Mark, you have a lot of work experience. How old were you when you started working?
When I first started working, I was 18.
And how many jobs have you like held from then till now?
I'll say like about 5, 6 probably. Because I first started, my first job was I was an office clerk, and then that was temporarily. Then after that, I was working with Sears, which was like part-time.
Like retail cashier.
Yeah, I was a stock.
Okay, cool.
A stocker, unload the trucks and stuff, which built my experience. Then I got into doing security, and I applied for other security companies doing different things, working at mental male shelters. I worked at like watching parks and stuff, even stadiums. I started out like a floater. So you go to stadiums, like these soccer games, football games, baseball games. It's kind of fun.
That sounds cool.
It's fun. It's a nice experience, even though you don't pay to go do yourself. Like I'm getting paid
to be there.
Yeah, to be there for free. Like
so
that's fun. And then I worked in a condo to work on how should I say, signing people in, knowing how to greet people,
right?
The residents, you know how to talk to different type of people with different race and stuff.
That's cool.
So, and then you work with computers, teaches you how to be on point and all this stuff. So
all of that stuff basically just builds up your experience.
Yeah.
And it makes you, what should I say, not like a jack of all trades, I guess, but like multi-skilled, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
As you
so
build
look
all
at
those
your resume
skills.
now and they feel like.
But you know what I realized,
anything.
like even you building those type of skills, like work skills, it builds your mental skills too. Because when you see other people, like when I was working in a mental male shelter, when you see these guys live, the way they live and what they go through or what they went through, it makes you think about your life and like what you want to do with your life when you get older.
Right. These are good jobs to have while you're still young, so you don't want to sit around and think that you're going to be like just everything's going to be handed to you, and all of a sudden when you get up you're 30 and now you're wondering what you're going to do with the rest of your life and try to get a job. It's always great to start out working while you're young. Right. I remember first getting my working papers. I was 14 years old in junior high school when they said that you are eligible to work in New York City.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want to work. And they had like summer youth programs where teenagers could get jobs as a camp counselor or, in a supermarket bagging groceries for people. But I was always like, I don't want a job. I was like, I have my whole life ahead of me to get a job. I don't want to get a job. I want to enjoy my summer and wake up late and do what I want to do. I was 14, 15, 16. And I just wanted to be a child. But by the time that I turned like 17, 18 years old, unfortunately, my parents were not buying me clothes and shoes and stuff anymore.
We had to fend for ourselves.
They were like, go outside and get a job. And when I graduated high school, it's like, okay, you have your high school diploma, so now you can really get a job. And my mom was like, go down to the mall. Okay, they're hiring in all those stores and stuff like that. There's a job fair. Go there. And my dad was like, he drove us to like all these different job interviews and was like, you guys are gonna get jobs. You guys have to get jobs. And my first job was in the mall, standing around asking people if they wanted to take a survey.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I mean, the thing is that it wasn't fun because you basically stood up for hours with a clipboard in your hand and just trying to stop people. And it's hard too if like people are busy, they're walking up and down, they're going about their own business, and you're stopping them saying like, hey, do you want to take a survey? But the thing is that we paid people for it. The company actually paid people $2 to take a survey, and it was about movies that were coming out next year.
Right, so people got to see like the trailers before the trailer actually got out.
Exactly. These are movies that were still in the making that I got to see, that they were still in the process of being made, so it wasn't really done yet, and they were like put out like little trailers, and we would pay people and we'd pay people $2 to sit down, watch the trailer, and then answer a bunch of questions. And it also helped these directors and producers to give them feedback on if they should even release the movie come next year or the year after,
like
based on the feedback that people gave us in the mall. How well it would do before even finished making it. So that way they would know, like, should we even continue making this movie and putting the money into making this movie?
Or
people
add something
say
to
it's
it,
whack.
take this out.
Exactly. And people didn't really believe us. Sometimes they were like, get paid to take a survey, I'm getting real money. But in the end, like, we would actually give them $2 per survey. And then there were other surveys that people did that cost more money, like $5 to try this chip, taste this chips, or people got paid $20, $50 to try out a hair product, a skin product, and things like that, and take it home and bring it back to us. So that was my first job, and it was in the mall. And I mean, by the time that I was ready to move on to my second job, I basically put down, because the correct position, like the name of that position was called a market research interviewer. So how fancy
it sounded all fancy, and the job
really was not even that fancy. And that was the only, a market research interviewer, and that was my very first actual paid working experience. And I was getting paid, how much was minimum wage at the time? $7 or $8?
It was $8
an hour. And not even for like 5 hours a day. 2 to 3 hours a day. 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes 4 to 5. It was never a full 8 hours. And I only had the job on the weekends.
And we got paid
only Saturdays and Sundays. Exactly. So I got paid every 2 weeks.
My paycheck used to say like $80.
$100. Exactly. $102.65.
That's slavery.
Exactly.
And then what? Is this after tax?
Yeah, this is after taxes.
Oh my
and
God.
Camille knows about this. Let me tell you why Camille knows about this job. Is because I started working there, and one day she came to the mall, and she came and met me by my job, and my manager was like, "Oh my God, you have a twin sit right? What's new? Always shopping. This girl, she ain't got no money, but she always shopping."
Okay.
My manager was like, "Oh my God, you have a twin sister?" And she was just like, "Hi," or whatever. And then she was like, "You want to work here? Do you have a job?" And Camille was like, "No, I don't have a job." She was like, "Oh, I want twin workers." She gave Camille this paper, told her to fill it out. They never interviewed her. She didn't have to do nothing at all. They just told her when to start, and she just started working. And she was like, "I have twin workers. Yay!"
How do you know if she have a felon?
But wait, let me tell you.
I don't know.
This just goes to show you can get a job just by knowing somebody.
Sometimes it does work out like that. Like, there are times.
Yeah, that's why they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know. Yeah, you know, it really, and that's why it's always good. And that's another thing that I want to talk about is networking. Especially like by the time when, for those of you who go to college, you go through,
learn all about
your first and second and third year. By the time you get to your third year of college, you should be trying to do internships. And internships, even though some of them are not paid, do not turn them down, because that's experience that you can put on your resume. Not only that, but if you do so good on your internship, sometimes they want to keep you because they have positions opened up and they already got used to you, and you're wonderful for them to use as an employee. Not only that, but you get to meet other people in that industry. So you might not get hired at that particular place, but maybe somebody that works with them or comes by, like an alliance or whatever, they have a position in that place that they would want you for. So it's always good to network and get to know people. Take down numbers, take down names, give them your email, try to get people to know who you are.
Meet, like,
because it's about who you know sometimes.
And you know what's a major thing too? When you're applying for a job, don't just apply for one job and just give up.
Like
you gotta keep applying. Can you think about how many applications you filled out and
like over
how many really called?
Exactly.
Like, I remember I used to sit with my friend. We used to sit in the room and just fill out bare applications back to back all day.
And how many callbacks did you get?
Sometimes none, yo.
Ooh, I get none.
Exactly.
Sometimes none.
So if you can fill out like 20 applications a day, at least one out of those 20 might just call you back.
Yeah.
And do it, honestly, because sometimes it's like you probably didn't even get a call back because one of those applicants within that pool, the manager or whoever in HR probably knows them, and so they're like, let me bring that person in, and they end up not even calling everybody else because they already found the person that they wanted. And they usually don't send out rejection letters when it comes to jobs. Like, if you don't hear back from them, you just don't hear back from them. Some places are a little bit more like, they're nice enough to say like, you know, we received your application, but unfortunately you didn't fit our requirements this time around, but we'll keep your application like in our system for next time, or you know, something like that. But not every single job does that. So
another thing that people probably would not think about is collecting business cards.
Yeah,
it might sound weird, and it might sound like, what am I gonna do with a business card? How is a business card from somebody's business gonna get me a job? And I'm gonna tell you how. When I was in college and I was studying fashion design, and I went on a couple of internships, they were teaching us how to network. And what I noticed is that the teacher would say to us, or the professor in college, whatever they call them, you should collect business cards from every person that you meet when you go to these fashion shows. I used to do, I did like security and like general admissions for the fashion shows. And you had people from magazine companies, like, you know, in particular, like, let's say you want to go into the fashion industry. You have people who are like wardrobe stylists, people who are like makeup artists or beauticians, designers. You have people who work at magazines, and they come to the fashion shows, and you collect their business card so that you can call them up and ask them if they need any help, if you can volunteer. Because once you get your foot into that door and they start to learn, you become an intern in that place, they might just offer you a job.
That's true.
And you didn't even have to like necessarily apply or fill out an application. You just make yourself known by networking and collecting those business cards, and you call up those numbers and see if they need help, see if they need volunteers doing anything. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I met some people that I never thought I would meet in my life. If you ever watch America's Next Top Model, and the judge, Miss J, I actually met him.
She was so
that
excited.
was crazy.
She came home saying like
that was crazy.
Person.
I met
she
people,
or him? Which one is it?
It's a man, but you know
It's
his
a
name
man-
is
it's a
Miss
man
J.
she?
He's famous, right? Miss
Oh,
J.
because you said I met her.
But
and then
well, I mean,
met
some
him.
people call him
I don't
her.
know.
You know, some people like they just kind
I don't
of
know.
identify with either or,
Right.
like they're fluid.
I
Like
met
they just-
him or her, whatever. Her name is Miss J, and he was a judge
J, but I
on America's Next Top
Okay.
Model.
Okay, I was.
If y'all know who we're talking about, he was one of the judges on the panel with Jay, Miss J,
Nigel
Tyra,
and Twiggy.
and Nigel and Twiggy.
Yeah.
Nigel Bryant. Okay, so that was on America's Next Top Model. You want to be on top?
I've even met people who are
You
celebrities.
didn't watch that. You didn't
I
watch
don't
that.
want
That
him.
was-
I don't want
girl.
him on top. I don't go that way. I don't want him on top.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
met people who
Tyra Banks, I want you, baby. I don't want your forehead, but
Oh Lord, yo, you terrible.
I'm just
Oh my
saying.
God.
I've met people who have done celebrities like hair and makeup. So if you're one of those people, maybe your dream or your goal is to be a freelance makeup artist or beautician or cosmetologist.
Right, and you know we have a lot of these on YouTube.
Network.
Everybody's doing makeup.
Yes, it's all about networking and meeting people and getting your foot in the door in order to advance.
So how many of y'all gonna keep doing makeup? So that's the new hustle
Listen.
now? Makeup and rapping?
I think
Listen.
probably.
If it's money out there and there's jobs out there, go ahead and do it. Because guess what? There's somebody who built like your television. There's somebody who built the railing to the stairs in your house. There's there's thousands of people that drive the bus. So the same way there's a whole bunch of MUAs and a whole bunch of rappers, if there's money out there and there's positions available, why not?
Exactly.
Always have more than one hustle, my dude.
Exactly, and you can always,
Well.
there's always, you don't have to stick to one way of making money. You could use all your talents, and if you have the ability to make money out of doing all of them, do all of them. Make money out of doing hair and doing nails, and
and then
Best.
still have your
Everything.
job on the
Still have
side,
your regular
whether
job
you
on the
work at a
side.
bank or whether you drive the bus or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
You don't just have to stick to that. You could have like 5 means of income if you're a real hustler.
Exactly. So those were just some of our tips when it comes to
I got more than one hustle.
starting off on.
He got more than one hustle. I seen this nigga collect bottles. He sells cigarettes. Yeah, you go down the street. That nigga always out there 6 in the morning.
Listen, anyhow you can make money.
And then I saw my
you
son,
that money.
and he was cleaning up the train station. There's mad shit you could do, yo.
There's a lot of stuff that you could do. So that was just some of our tips, and advice when it comes to finding a job, getting your first job, how to build up your very first resume, and then also just, trying to keep a job and networking, just when it comes to job search.
Now let's talk about having a plan. Wait.
So what were you about to say?
I was going to talk about having a game plan. Like, don't just like be doing a bunch of different stuff. Like, actually have a plan and action goals that you're going to do to like get to that.
Where you trying to go?
Exactly. So then you probably want to get a planner and write down what you want to do with your life.
You take your notes.
All right. Write down what you do, what you want to do with your life, and as you do those things to help keep you motivated, because you're gonna have bumps in the road, and to keep you motivated, write those things down, and as you accomplish it, check it off, and you're gonna feel better.
So say that, and then we'll end off the video.
I don't know if you
But she just said
exactly
it.
what I just said.
But the camera recorded because
It
it's
did
still recorded.
catch it though.
The last thing I want to talk about is actually having a plan. Okay, having a plan. You don't want to be doing too many different things and you're heading in like 5 different directions.
Right.
And they get
If
too
you have
stressful for you.
exactly,
I talk about this all the time. I'm a
stress.
planner.
Stress is gonna come. Stress is real, and stress is not going nowhere.
It's
Stress
very
is
real.
always gonna
That
be
shit
a
is
part
right
of
at
life.
the door.
Stress is always
It's
gonna
always
be a
gonna
part of life, and there is no running from stress. However, you can learn to deal with stress. Okay, so when you're doing these things, you want to have a plan. Probably get yourself a planner or a notebook or whatever it is and write it down. Write down your plan, write down your goals, and write down your, you know, actions that you plan to take in order to reach that goal. And these are going to be like your baby steps that you're going to be following towards your path of success.
This is my planner.
See, she got her planner. Show them your planner.
She only got her planner because
my planner.
she forgets stuff.
Well,
that's the only reason.
It's not only because I forget things, because I don't know what's going on with my mind sometimes, but I do forget stuff. So I put everything in my phone, in the calendar, in my phone. Not only that, but afterwards I write everything down on all these little pages. These are blank pages. We're not in June yet.
Right.
But basically, if y'all look at January, I'm gonna show y'all January. January.
Hold it closer.
But I don't want them to read my planner. Oh gosh. And then if I go to February, basically, so y'all can see how marked up. Can they see? You know, how marked up my planner is.
Okay. So like,
I basically mark everything down.
I know sometimes people might think to themselves that like planners and little diaries and stuff like that is for girls, but honestly, like, guys can do it too. You can get a notebook. It don't gotta be like a little fancy looking
actually
thing like
inspired
that.
my boo. He said he gonna get a planner. He gonna write stuff down there.
But guys too,
Just like
young men too,
Soft.
you can get a planner or a
Soft.
notebook and write it down. Have a game plan and actually write it down, because what it's gonna do for you in the end is when you're gonna have your days where you feel like things are not happening fast enough.
Exactly.
Or you're gonna have your days where, let's say you got a job and then they didn't like you and they fired you. Don't let that knock you down. Keep on going. Write it down in your planner, and as you accomplish each goal, check it off.
That. People that just assume or just judge you by looking at you.
Yeah,
That's so
they
funny.
do, but you
But
know
it
it happens.
happens.
It happens. I've dealt with it too, where you
Exactly.
try to find a job and you were just trying to hustle, you just trying to grind, you just minding your business, and people at work, they just don't like you, and you know things don't work out. But don't
if I'm
let
willing
that
to
stop
work,
you.
like, why look at me? Why don't just give me a chance?
People are gonna be people.
Exactly.
Like,
But you
hire
can't
me,
let
give me a
that
chance.
stop you. You can't let it
I don't
stop
know.
you. So,
It's as simple
And then
as
you complain about the people on the job that don't want to work.
Exactly.
People that's always
But guess
calling
what
out.
though? They hired those people because of how they portrayed themselves in the interview.
Right.
Then they show their true colors after. Sometimes the way that somebody looks in an interview, they might feel like, oh, you know, you're not trustworthy just by the way that you look. But then when you hire them,
Basically,
you know,
she's
they
saying
actually are.
lie. Just lie.
No,
we
not-
live in
I'm not-
world, we have to lie. You feel me? You got to fake it till you make it.
I'm not saying that.
Sometimes.
That's what people do. They lie
No,
in their
but
resume.
you know
they lie
something?
in
It's
the interview.
because they do judge. Look at the fact that, not to discriminate or anything, right? But let's say your name is like Quanisha, or like, you know, like Dayquasia or something like that.
Devontae.
Watermelon Drea.
Whatever it is, right? You know,
Shananana.
stuff like that. It's so funny because, like, sidebar, one of my coworkers, like, at a previous job, he said that he knew somebody who had twins named Lawasha and Ladrya, and I think that's crazy.
I think that's cute.
But La Washer and La Dryer.
yeah, that shit is dope.
Anyway,
Laundry?
not to be like, you know,
She's clean.
racist right now or
They
anything
clean.
like that, but I'm just saying that a
One
lot
is
of
wet
times
and one is dry. Ain't that right?
y'all are being terrible. Not to be racist or, like, you know, discriminating or prejudice or whatever y'all want to call it, but a lot of times when people have certain names, and this
And
is
when
why
you
y'all
fill
need
out
to
your
be
job
careful.
applications, put down you are Mexican.
Don't listen to him, you guys. Do not listen to
Why?
what he is saying right now. He's been drinking and whatnot.
I was not drinking.
Anyway,
And
He's
it's-
drinking
basically,
juice.
yeah,
cranberry.
Don't even try to
fire water.
You gotta
and
be
juice.
healthy. Trying to be healthy. Yeah.
Anyway, basically, sometimes that's why you have to be careful of what you name your children. We're not saying that these are not, you know, nice names. This might be your name. I'm sorry, but sometimes in corporate America, they look at those names on a resume and they just judge you. You know,
But look
they
at
try
me.
to
My
keep
name
black
is a
people
simple,
down.
basic name, but they just look at me as some like hoodlum dude, and I'm not.
They look at you, Mark.
My name is Mark Campbell.
But
That's a
like,
basic, simple name.
But like,
then when they see me in the interviews, like, oh,
You see, this is
I don't
why
know.
you gotta use the voice. All right, it's
The
your voice. Yeah, I'm saying, like, speak intellectually. That the
like
word?
more believable.
Oh, I thought you were about to say like change up your accent.
No,
or something when
no,
you said
no.
the word.
Like how you
Be
changed your voice
no.
into talking white, and then you Grenadian the next minute.
Okay, accents is a different thing. We're gonna save that for another video. But yeah, just portray yourself to be smart and intelligent, and I'm sure that
Like you are.
people are bound to see you for what you actually are, and they're not gonna judge you.
Exactly.
But
Use your vocabulary. That's what you gotta do. Use your vocabulary.
Exactly.
just don't listen.
You don't go into an interview talking
People
like
are
how
gonna-
you talk
in
to your
life-
friends.
People are gonna judge you. Don't let it knock you down. Continue to motivate yourself. Write it down. Check it off. You accomplish your goals and keep on pushing. That's just how life is gonna
You
go.
gotta keep a motivation.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
And let this video of us be your motivation. Now we don't know everything. Like I said, we're still young, right?
So we're going through it.
Exactly.
We're going through it.
So
But when you want something, when you know you really want something, you gotta. That's your motivation. Like I gotta get it.
exactly.
Just like when y'all are like, oh, I gotta get these bundles. Oh, I gotta go hit up Cino
stop at nothing.
for this demo real
Stop
quick.
at nothing.
You gonna fight through that
Exactly.
snow and get that hit up Cino for that demo. You feel me? Or that 3.5, whatever the fuck y'all want to get. You know, you got a motivation for everything.
Right. So basically what he's saying is anything that it is that you guys are trying to strive for,
Stop
you know that
at
you're going to
nothing.
stop at nothing to make sure
To
that
get
you get
where
it.
you
So do
gotta
the
go.
same thing with your life goals, with getting that job, with buying that car, buying that house. You stop at nothing to make sure that you get
You gotta
those goals
motivate
done.
yourself, man.
Exactly. Whether you got to write it down every single day and stick it on your mirror, make sure you're looking at it when you're brushing your teeth. You put it on your rearview mirror. Make sure, well, don't put it like smack on the rearview.
No, you gotta find your own motivation.
exactly.
Everybody got their own motivation. That's like when a chick calls you, she's like, oh, I want to suck your dick. You gonna find your way over there. If she
We
live
gonna-
in Queens,
He be
we
talking
gonna-
about the
you know,
most.
you will walk on
So-
the belt. But I bet you if a nigga hit y'all up and be like, oh, come on, I want to eat your
yeah.
pussy. Oh, you gonna
we
find,
gotta cut
you
that
will
out.
pay for
We're
his
gonna have
cash.
to- y'all understand what he's
we
saying,
gotta
right?
leave
We're gonna have
it
to cut that
because
out.
So, no, we're gonna have to cut
He
that out.
means
this
good,
is
you
the
guys.
motivation.
He
It's
means
motivation.
good. We're gonna end this video right here by
No,
saying
it's motivation. All right, I'm gonna put it in a positive note. When you're going to work, you know, when you start off, you're on probation, right? So you know you can't be late, you can't call out or nothing. So you know, like when you wake up, it's cold outside. You gotta get out your bed. You have to. So your motivation, you gotta tell yourself like, yo, I'm not trying to lose my job. I'm trying to keep this.
right.
And if you're working because you're trying to get paid, so it's like, yo, I need this money. Time to get up.
This money.
Yeah, don't be on something like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Fuck, I'm gonna wait till 8:01 or 8:02 and get up. Nah, bro. Just
If
wait
you
some
need to
more
get up
time.
8 o'clock, you should be setting your alarm from 7:30.
Listen. Rise and grind. That's the quote.
Oh, I'll be rise when I wake up.
Rise and grind.
Wake up and shake up.
I shake when I pee.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this
These
video.
hands on my body,
that
shake
you
them
guys.
off.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this and that we spoke about things that can help you. If you
Yes.
guys have anything that you want to say to
Leave
us,
us questions.
leave us
and
questions down
comments.
below, comments down below, any advice or tips that you might have for either one of us. If you like this video, like it, give it a thumbs up. You're too much, yo.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when we make a new video. Let's get this video to like at least 100 or more likes if you guys want to see Mark back in another video.
And my number is 347.
He's not telling y'all his
849.
number. Bye guys, love you.
It's part of the video.
Mwah. Bye.
The last 4 digits is 1972. If y'all didn't catch it.
Crazy.
Alright, cut it off. This your boy Mark. I'm with my twin sisters.
I'm Camille. Oh, man.